Beijing, China, July 31st, 2025. China is in mourning as catastrophic floods engulfed a nursing home in Beijing, killing 30 people. Meanwhile, a flash flood devastated remote mountain villages on the Beijing-Hebei border, leaving many elderly missing. Young people hiked across treacherous terrain to search for relatives, only to discover entire villages had vanished without a trace. On July 31st, Beijing authorities held a press conference, officially confirming that, as of noon, the historic floods had claimed 44 lives. Of these, 31 were residents of local nursing homes. Shockingly, just days earlier on July 28th, Beijing officials had denied any fatalities in nursing homes, insisting that all elderly and disabled residents had been safely evacuated. This revelation ignited outrage across Chinese social media. The wind howled through collapsed rooftops as the floodwaters receded, revealing a haunting silence. Rows of empty beds in nursing homes, wheelchairs stuck in thick mud, and faded portraits of the elderly clinging to stained walls. No cries, no calls, only emptiness and grief blanketing the valley. To understand how these horrific images came to be, we must rewind a week earlier, when raindrops that seemed ordinary marked the beginning of an unprecedented tragedy. From July 23rd to July 29th, Beijing and northern China endured relentless downpours for 7 straight days and nights. 366 millimeters of rain, a dry statistic, yet crushing in weight. It turned gentle streams into raging torrents and caused lush mountain slopes to collapse in hours. In places like Langfangyu Valley, rainfall reached 573 millimeters, a rare event dubbed the rain of the century. At dawn on July 28th, residents of Taishitun Town, Miyun County were still asleep when a deafening roar shattered the night, the sound of water rushing from the upstream. Within minutes, the once gentle Qingshui River transformed into a monstrous torrent, surging at 2,800 cubic meters per second, 1,500 times its usual flow. The floodwaters swept away everything: homes, roads, bridges, and lives. Among the worst-hit places was the Taishitun nursing home, a site now etched in horror. Perched near the Miyun Reservoir, long considered safe, it housed 77 residents, most elderly and disabled, many unable to walk. When waters rose, they had no time to flee. In mere minutes, water climbed 2 meters, submerging the entire building. Firefighters rushed to the scene, but the fierce currents made rescue nearly impossible. By the time they forced their way inside, many had already drowned. Choking back tears, Yu Weiguo, party secretary of Miyun County, said at the press conference, "These elders were the same age as my parents, and now they are gone. We failed to protect them." Of the 44 fatalities in Beijing, 31 came from this nursing home. Their deaths were not just numbers, but painful reminders of flaws in disaster preparedness and dangerous complacency in assuming the area was safe for years. In the mountainous Huairou district, on Xunyan, the party secretary of Sun Hukao village and her husband braved the storm, knocking on doors, urging villagers to flee. "Hurry, the water's rising!" she shouted over thunder. Moments later, as they tried to save the last few households, a wall of water thundered down the mountainside. Both were swept away before the eyes of those they had just rescued. Over 100 party members and thousands of local militiamen launched a search, but as of the evening of July 31st, their bodies remained missing. Further along the Beijing-Hebei border lay Yangjiatai village, a small valley settlement of about 100 households, mostly elderly and children. The younger generations had left for work elsewhere. On the night of July 28th, torrential rain loosened the mountain soil until it collapsed. Lu Dao, 38, received a chilling message from his brother. "Come home, mother's missing." He abandoned his job in Beijing, grabbed a flashlight and dry rations, and trekked through slippery mountain trails, waded across streams, and climbed cliffs to return. What awaited him was devastation. His mother's home buried in mud and rock, only wooden pillars protruding above the muck. His hands trembled as he searched with his flashlight. Do you understand? Mud everywhere, rocks everywhere. I couldn't lift anything. 2 days later, his mother was still missing. Hope grew dim, yet he clung to a fragile belief. As long as we don't find her body, it means she might still be alive somewhere. Others were less fortunate. Li Jing, another villager, learned her parents had died after frantic attempts to contact them. Climbing back to her village, she found their lifeless bodies beneath layers of mud in their collapsed home. She wept in silence. Just days ago, we said goodnight to each other over the phone. Now, nothing. These heartbreaking stories are not isolated. From Aksu in Xinjiang to Beijing, scenic spots, tourist villages, and nursing homes shared the same fate, swallowed by flash floods in mere hours. On July 30th, in Wutun Ancient Town, Xinjiang, tourists were swept away while taking commemorative photos. Their bodies were found tens of kilometers downstream. In the mountains of Beijing, peaceful villages became seas of mud. In Taishitun Nursing Home, the elderly drowned in their own bedrooms. In total, over 113,000 people were affected, Namsantun evacuated, 31,000 homes damaged, and nearly 7,000 vehicles destroyed. Yet numbers alone cannot capture the losses, shattered lives, families torn apart, children left orphaned. As the waters receded, haunting images emerged. Cracked streets, broken bridges, cars overturned in mud, their wheels pointing skyward. Mud covered everything, from farmland to family altars. Inside the nursing home, rusted wheelchairs leaned against shattered windows. On the village outskirts, survivors stood silently, eyes red, clutching portraits of loved ones for identification. The press conference on July 31st was filled with grief. Officials admitted evacuation failures and vowed, human lives must come first. But for families who lost loved ones, any apology came too late. Today, Beijing's skies are clearing, but in the hearts of those in Miyun, Huairu, and Xinglong, the rain has not stopped. Lu Dao still wanders the muddy ruins, searching for his mother. Li Jing still waits for roads to open so she can bury her parents. Elderly survivors from the nursing home still wake in panic at the sound of rushing water. And somewhere in those valleys, the trickle of a small stream, the lifeblood of the mountains, now echoes as a haunting reminder of the day nature brought an entire region to its knees.